When you think of New York, you probably think of places like this, world-class parks butting up against some of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. However, New York has a wilder side. The city's 8 million residents live alongside more than 600 different species of animal. And in this series, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the concrete jungle's wilder residents. This is Wild New York.
My name is Katie, and I'm an amateur naturalist and animal lover.
I think we may have spooked him.
Join me and my friend Ben as we journey around New York and learn a little bit more about the wildlife that shares our home.
Woohoo! Big cities and large animals typically don't mix. Scant resources, dangerous traffic, and incessant light and sound tend to prevent populations of big creatures near metropolitan communities. But there's one pretty big beast that wants to see its name in lights, the white-tailed deer. Scientists know them as Otocoilus virginianus, but drivers know them as danger and hunters as a target. But who are they really? What is their family life like? Are they good animals to have around? And how on earth did they make it to the city? We're going to answer those questions and more today.
The white-tailed deer, also called the Virginia deer, is one of the most widespread ungulates, or hooved mammals, in the world. In the Americas, they can be found as far south as Peru, all the way up to Canada. In New York City, white-tailed deer can be found at Pelham Bay and Van Cortlandt parks in the Bronx, throughout the Staten Island green spaces, and occasionally in northern Manhattan. Male deer, called bucks, grow and shed their antlers annually. Female deer, called does, have no antlers. Bucks are typically between 150 and 300 pounds, while does are smaller, around 88 to 198 pounds. Does give birth to between 1 and 3 spotted young, known as fawns, in mid to late spring, generally in May or June. Fawns lose their spots during their first summer. Both sexes adhere to an eco-geographical principle called Bergmann's Rule, which states that within broadly distributed family groups, populations and species of larger size are found in colder environments, while populations and species of smaller size are found in warmer regions. This means that the deer found near New York are some of the largest in North America.
So, how did these urban ungulates get here? Deer migrated to Staten Island by swimming and to the Bronx by walking through Westchester. The occasional beast usually winds up in Manhattan by sneaking across one of the bridges. The white-tailed deer has a healthy diet of plant and fungal intake and will travel far distances to get it.
Deer are ruminants, which means their stomach has 4 chambers. These different chambers allow the deer to digest a variety of different foodstuffs, anything from legumes and shoots to even poison ivy and mushrooms. Deer have been known to eat small animals and birds, but this kind of predation only occurs in the rarest of circumstances. The vast majority of deer are herbivores. Although some subspecies of deer thrive in the open plains, the variety that lives near America's largest city prefers the shelter and foraging opportunities found in heavily wooded areas. Armed with this knowledge, let's see if we can find some in the wild.
White-tailed deer are found in only a couple of locations in New York City. We're here at the William T. Davis Wildlife Refuge in Staten Island, a former landfill, and let's see what we can find.
Despite their size, deer are excellent at avoiding detection. Their brown hues, prey instincts, and speed make them surprisingly sneaky. Following the tracks their sharp hooves leave behind, as well as the consistency of their droppings, will help you know which areas they frequent, as well as where they might be moving. As always, keep your eyes open when exploring green areas. You never know what other amazing discoveries are waiting for you.
So we just stumbled upon a small group of white-tailed deer here in Staten Island. They're right here behind me. Let's go see if we can get a closer look.
Deer have excellent night vision, but during the day, their vision is primarily based on movement. When they spot you, they will often move their heads from side to side to try and assess the threat. Like colorblind humans, they also have difficulty distinguishing red and orange from green, which is why hunters often wear a bright orange to ensure they're not mistaken for their target.
Now that we've met the deer of New York City, it's time to ask the most important question. How do they fit into our ecosystem? When you're not behind the wheel of a car, deer can be a calming and ethereal sight. But how do they fit into New York City's environment?
Deer are big-time eaters. A single adult can eat 1 ton of vegetation in a year. That's 2,000 pounds. Unchecked, deer populations can kick off the degradation of a forest environment in as little as 18 months. With most of their large predators, such as bears, wolves, and coyotes, chased far away from New York City, deer have few environmental constraints on their population growth. They can reach sexual maturity in their first year of life. And while most deer only live 2 to 3 years, in the wild they can reach the age of 10, and captive deer have been found to live for as long as 23 years. When populations become dense, the likelihood of the transmission of tick-borne illnesses skyrockets. Deer ticks can carry the bacteria that spread Lyme disease directly to humans, creating a serious health hazard. In 2017, New York City implemented a vasectomy program for Staten Island's deer population that resulted in only a 17% drop of the total population. Last year, in 2019, the city opted to renew this system for another 5 years, citing its success in reducing both populations and tick-borne illness in Staten Island. Still, the city has not ruled out allowing a hunting season on state property, making deer management an excellent opportunity for civic engagement on behalf of wildlife.
Deer and the Big Apple have a complex relationship. These beautiful beasts can be deeply destructive, and if left to their own devices, can bring havoc and disease into your community. They can run up to 30 miles per hour and leap over an 8-foot fence. So, unlike the other creatures we've met thus far, we can't rely on small measures to keep our respective populations safe and healthy. If you love wildlife and the environment, the management of deer population is an issue to get involved with. Write your local representatives, support humane issues, and listen to the people that live alongside them. Being a responsible citizen scientist is about engaging with people as well as wildlife. As always, never feed wildlife. Keep a safe distance while observing, and always remember to dispose of your trash. If you can follow these steps, we can bring New York City closer into harmony with nature and make sure the city that never sleeps stays a wild New York.